Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today. Happy September. Get ready. We got a lot of games coming out, and a lot of them are role-playing games. These are the top 5 RPGs releasing in September of 2021. We do this each and every single month, so if you're into that type of stuff and you want to see October, November, December, so on and so forth, top RPGs, consider subscribing. It is one of the first videos we post at the beginning of every month. Thank you again for all your support on this series. I love doing them. I love hunting down RPGs. Normally, we find a group of, I'd say, pretty niche ones. This time around, the pickings were pretty simple. There's a lot of big RPGs dropping this month, so let's get it started with an MMO RPG of all things, and that is New World. New World is dropping September 28th on PC. This is one that's coming from Amazon. And Amazon does not have a good track record, but a lot of people are really looking forward to this one. They delayed it. They've been working on it a while. It started off as a PvP game. It added on the PvE content. It seems pretty divisive on that front, but when it comes to crafting, when it comes to the actual PvP gameplay, it seems to have a true identity of its own. And at the end of the day, it looks like there's a foundation there. Now, I'm going off of what I've read from others, what I've personally seen. I have not played this game, but what I'm seeing is this is a pretty encouraging start, and that it could be Amazon's first solid game to then build off of. For me, as an MMO freak, I love me some Star Wars: The Old Republic, Elder Scrolls Online. I'm always looking for the next MMO. I got to be honest with you, as I talk about MMOs that came out like a decade ago. All right, but you get my point that I will be there trying out New World day one just to see what it's all about. I love the feeling of an MMO getting its hooks in me. And this one on a combat front looks pretty impressive when it comes to animation. The sound detail seems pretty excellent for an MMO, where it's starting to close that gap a little bit, where as someone who plays, once again, The Old Republic, Elder Scrolls Online, these games lag on a technical level, but they make up for it in its insane amount of content, decent storytelling, so on and so forth. So hopefully New World can bridge that gap a little bit closer, where it can look the part of a truly full-fleshed AAA game at the same time as being an MMO that is solid and interesting. Time will tell, and that's coming out once again September 28th. Next on the list is Tales of Arise. This releases September 10th, 2021 for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. The big thing that stands out about Tales of Arise is 100% the fact that, get this, you ready for this one? Okay, hold on to your seats. There's a budget. This game looks like it has a budget. Oh my God, they actually were given money. I have been a longtime Tales of fan, and yeah, the engine, the dungeons, the visuals, they really were held back. And so to see Tales of suddenly get a burst of cash and hopefully making good on it is quite encouraging. But with that long legacy there, you're probably wondering, should I even bother getting into Tales? Do I have to play the previous one to understand what's happening in Arise? And yeah, there are shared gameplay mechanics, and there are certain Tales of games that are connected, like Berseria and Zestiria. But in the case of Arise, what's really appealing is it's standalone. It's releasing on so many platforms. It is truly the most accessible Tales game in a long while, and it is probably one of the best starting points for new fans. So if you've held off on this series, maybe it looked a little too weeby, maybe you're a little bit unsure, now is the time to take the dive and see if it is worth your time when reviews drop. So keep an eye on this one. For those looking for a little background on what Tales of Arise is, the story will focus on one of two characters, one from Reyna and one from Donna, who are joining forces in the hopes of changing the world. But really, what its standout quality is its ambition for a JRPG. Because on a visual level, that's where JRPGs tend to falter. They don't focus on things that Western RPGs do, like dungeon diversity. That's just not something that's in their wheelhouse. It's more about content. And so for them to take a more westernized approach to Tales, I think will be pretty refreshing. Time will tell on that one, September 10th. Next on our list is Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous. This releases on September 2nd for PC. Later on, it will be coming to Xbox Game Pass. Keep an eye out for that, but this will be coming to consoles. This one looks tremendous. As a huge fan of Divinity Original Sin, I gotta say, this one is big time on my radar. And it flew under there for a while because there was a Pathfinder game that came out a while ago that then got a re-release and it was refined where it really started to capture an audience. Now we're getting Wrath of the Righteous, and there was a trailer during a Xbox showcase recently. It was the ID at Xbox one that I saw and went, oh my, this looks really good. It's a CRPG. It's got choice and consequence. It has very much diverse builds. I think from top to bottom, this game looks really impressive, and it's going to sneak up on a lot of people like myself who are looking for another great RPG, because that's something that I feel like has been missing. There have been nice little niche RPGs, but this is like the RPG, right? A CRPG, kind of like in the style of Wasteland 3, in the style of Divinity Original Sin 2, where you know there's going to be branching paths and completely different builds for your party. So I think this game looks excellent. It has seemingly a larger budget. You'll be able to create a character based on 25 different classes and 12 races. Combat will swap between real-time and turn-based to take advantage of different maneuvers like an advanced attack or a mounted attack. So this game is clearly improved past its predecessor. And again, I need to emphasize how much this will sneak up on people, because no one's talking about it. But just wait. Just wait. Next on the list, Diablo 2 Resurrected. Let's quickly go through this one. Diablo, I don't think needs much explanation. It's a isometric action RPG with loot, and that's pretty much it. If anyone's engaged by the Diablo story, I'd love to know what you're seeing that I am not, because when I played Diablo 3, the only one I did play, it was just an amazing co-op romp. That was what was fun about it. One thing I did want to shout out for Diablo 2 Resurrected is a age-old mechanic that I only saw in one game, that was Halo Anniversary, the ability to go back and forth between the old graphics and the new. That ability to drive nostalgia into every corner of the game with the press of a button is so important. I can't believe after Halo did it, I thought everyone's going to do this, because it's so obvious that it works so well. It's such an easy selling point that blends old with new, and no one did it. And now here we are with Diablo 2 Resurrected, which is in fact doing it. Also, it boasts 8-player co-op. That's kind of insane when you think about it. So there's going to be no limit to the amount of friends that can really join you. I mean, provided you got 8 friends. I think that's pretty hard to achieve, I'll be honest. So congrats if you got more than 8 friends. But this is one that will be easy to hop into a match with anyone online. There's improved BattleNet and all that stuff. So they're doing a solid job updating the game and making it much more modernized. Diablo 2 Resurrected is coming out September 23rd on Xbox, PC, PlayStation, and Switch for $60. And yeah, it looks solid. So overall, check that out if you're interested. But what I think you should really consider taking a look at is Tales of Iron. First of all, the trailer for this game. It's narrated by Geralt of Rivia. And that was really cool to hear, right? Because everyone associates him with one character, but he's getting around that Geralt. Hopefully not through some portals. Anyway, Tales of Iron is releasing on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Switch September 17th. You see how all these games are pretty stacked together? It's quite impressive. Anyway, this trailer doesn't have a lot of views at all. I saw on the PlayStation blog it only had 80,000 views. So this is really not on anyone's radar. It's in a hand-drawn world plagued by war. Tales of Iron will have you embarking in an RPG adventure that is quite similar to something like Dark Souls. I think also people make comparisons to the likes of Hollow Knight. In a way, artistically, it reminds me of Darkest Dungeons. And it seems like it's going to be very crunchy, very difficult. You're going to play as Reggie, who is an heir to the Rat Throne and the future savior of this broken kingdom. And the goal of your adventure is to set out to defeat the Frog Clan and their ferocious leader, Greenwort, to restore said Rat Kingdom. So I'm thinking, like, shout out to those of you who are going to get this, like Final Fantasy IX, but there's like one Burmecia, like there's that one part of the game where you're in the Rat Kingdom. I'm thinking like that, but a full game. And that's sort of what got me amped up, because Final Fantasy IX to me is like the best one of them all. I love Final Fantasy IX. But I thought this one looked really neat. It looked like a strong action RPG where I felt that it could definitely fly under people's radar, especially because, as I said, a lot of these games we were picking from, you know, New World, Tales of Arise, these are big, highly marketed games. So I kind of feel bad for a independent game like Tales of Iron that looks solid releasing under the radar, because it's tough to not only get marketing and attention, but here's the other harsh reality is it's tough to get reviews done if people are not having time to be able to play your games, because when you release in the fall period, your game either needs to dominate people's attention where they know that if they invest their time in that review that it will gain traction on their website or a YouTube channel, or you got to release it at the right time when there's nothing to play, so people will end up playing it to produce content. That's just the sad reality of it. So I wanted to, at least with Tales of Iron, give a shout out here, make sure that people have heard of it, and we try to make sure with this series that even though it's not the most highly viewed one, that we continue to lift up RPGs like King's Bounty 2 and Tales of Iron, Dodgeball Academia, the games that quickly come and go that people aren't really talking about much, because I think that's what's important about this, is talking about the RPGs, putting them on a platform, and making sure you consistently know what's coming out and what to look for. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, those are 5 RPGs dropping in September. Once again, New World, Tales of Arise, we have Tales of Iron, double Tales now that I think about that. On top of that, we have Diablo 2 Resurrected and Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, which just looks incredible. I cannot wait to play that. And so, with that, what do you think of all of these RPGs coming out? What tops your list? Is there anything here that I did not mention that you're looking forward to? Of course, that's always welcome, so do fire away in the comments down below. And with that, I bid you adieu. So take good care of yourselves. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons and all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy. Stay active. I love you all. Peace.